Hey guys, it's Tanisha from Mommy and Me, back with another video. So as promised, this is gonna be all of the material for the Language Arts 3 curriculum from Abeka. So I'm gonna go through these last because these are a lot of books. I'm gonna start off here. So we have the teaching charts, and these are just little charts that you can put up and use. It does come with the parent kit. And then we have Writing with Purpose. So like I love to say, I get the unbounded whenever I can, because some books are not, some books you don't have the unbounded option, but I get unbounded and I make copies because it gives me the chance to make more copies if I need to, if she happens to mess up or we need more practice. So this is the Writing with Purpose, penmanship and creative writing. And pretty much they're just going to be writing and practicing their writing. The lines are smaller than what it was for second grade. But what I like with Abeka, from when they started writing, I believe in K4, the lines were super huge and they got smaller and smaller, but it was a gradual progression. And I felt like they just did it so perfectly, so you don't, at least I don't feel like my daughter feels it. Like, she has not yet complained that the lines are too small. She has just been adjusting, and I think it's because they integrated so well. So this is just practice. You're gonna see they're gonna have times where they are copying certain things. And because I have her practicing both script and cursive, what I do is for penmanship, this particular book, I have her do all cursive, but for the rest of her, the rest of the subject, she's allowed to write in script. So she's able to practice both. So we're gonna also have book reports, as you can see here. It's a lot more creative writing. So here it's talking about thinking of invention you can make with items from the island. In the box, draw a picture of what it would look like. Describe how you would make it and use it on the lines. And then there's a lot about the stories, which she loves these parts because of the fact that she loves creating stories. I think she's gonna grow up to be an author one day, maybe. All right, then we have my writing collection. So this is pretty much just, there's gonna have prompts in the lesson plan, and this is the paper they're gonna write on, depending on whatever they ask for. So that's what this part's gonna be. And then at the end of the book, you have the test. So here it's pretty much, it's always just copying whatever is up there. So here we have copy the Bible verses, which is normally what it is. So, let's see more, yep. So that's pretty much it for this one. Let's get this all together. Okay, then we have the reading comprehension skill sheets. So again, that is in the lesson plan. So here it shows you all of the stories they'll be reading, and this is pretty much what it looks like. So very short passage, and then you have questions at the back. And I really like these. They started these last year in the second grade. I like these because my daughter is not great with reading comprehension. She loves to read, but the comprehending part sometimes, like if you have to ask her questions and stuff, certain stuff she'll be able to tell you, but it's because she really doesn't focus on those details. So this helps her to kind of get that practice in, and I like that. Here we have our spelling and poetry book. So unfortunately, these books are bounded, so she's just gonna use the book. And this is how it looks. So you have the words, you have your vocabulary words, and then you have the writings after, like the different activities they need to get done. That's how spelling is. And then you have your poetry to the back. So whatever little poems we're gonna be using is back here. And yeah, that's pretty much it for spelling. Very straightforward. The language book is also bound this year. So you know, we just gonna have to work through that one. And this is pretty much how it looks. So you have your contents here, everything that they'll be going through, and then you have the activities. So what I'm probably gonna do, especially since it's just this book is not unbounded, is just have extra activities just in case she needs extra practice. And this is how that book looks. This is like, oh my gosh, this is like a step up from 2nd grade for real. I'm getting so excited for her. So yeah, this is your language 3. And then you have a separate language 3 teacher key. This is pretty much just a book with the answers. That's it. That's all it is. So in case, you know, you need, I mean, most of the stuff you can look at it and know the answers to, but in case you need that reference, you have this. Anything blank is normally the answers will vary, so you kind of read and decide if it's correct or not from what they put, making sure they follow the directions. Excuse me. Here we have the quiz and test. So this is unbound. This is just how a test would look. So here you have test 2. So that's a back and front test. Here you have a quiz. The quiz is clearly a little shorter. So every week they will have something. It's gonna be a test or it's gonna be a quiz. And that's how it's gonna go for the whole school year. That's how it's gonna go. And then we have here the language 3 quiz and test key. So this is your answer key. It'll tell you how much each question is worth. So that's all this is the answer key. And last but not least is our books. So they do have them in order. If you can see here, it goes from 3A all the way down to, I don't have it in order here. So it's all the way down to K, I-J-K. There we go. So I'm gonna do a little sneak in each one. So this is from shore to shore, and you can see the words are more smaller now from last year. There's questions at the end again. You still have the words to watch for. This year, I think what I'm gonna do is have her get a vocabulary notebook. So all these words to watch for, she's kind of just jotting them down, especially the ones with the definitions. And then there is my new song. So looks like this is an actual chapter book they'll be reading. Right here. That's pretty neat. Then we have Through the Seasons. So this looks like it's just regular different stories. Again, with these questions as well, I haven't decided if I'm just gonna ask her the questions afterwards and she verbally answer me, or if I'm gonna have her write it down for writing practice, but I'll decide that later. Among the Animals is next. Again, just different stories, lots of words. And if you haven't noticed, but as we get further in the different books, the stories become longer, there's less pictures, more words. Here we have Pilgrim Boy. This is another chapter book that they'll be reading. It's pretty nice. Treats and Treasures. And this has different things in it. Looks like different stories, poems. Secret in the Maple Tree. Another chapter book. Here. So it seems like the chapter books, they don't have the questions at the end. Heroes and helpers, so we could pretty much figure out what that's about. And here we go. On the bright side, another book, longer stories. The Swiss Family Robinson, simplified, another chapter book. There we go. And then Pilgrim's Progress, Christian's Journey. So this is another chapter book, but it looks like it's more of a chapter book with a play. That's kind of cool. All right, so that's all of the reading books. These are the books that they would do throughout the 3rd grade school year. So guys, that is all for language arts. I know it was quite a bit. The next video we will have the science and history, I believe. Yeah, science, history, and probably the art if I can squeeze it in and not make it too long. But yeah, again, hope this helps. If there's anything that you want to see in more detail, just drop a comment below. Let me know. Any way I can help you guys, I am all open to. All right, I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.